You know, there's a real art to giving feedback to creative people. I've seen it a number of times in organizations that maybe managers in the company can really close down the creativity in an organization and an innovative nature of a team or an organization by giving feedback that's maybe not in the best way. So I want to give you 4 kind of key principles to think about for giving feedback to other creative people, especially in your team. And this is also something that you can use the other way. If you have a manager or you're working with other people and you're maybe want to give them ideas on how to give feedback to other members of the team, these can be 4 useful principles. So the first principle is this idea that when you're giving feedback, you want to be saying what is unclear, is missing, or is wrong. That's the first point, you know, those 3 parts. But the second point, and this really relates to the first point, is you also don't want to be giving this feedback too early in the process. You don't want to be saying what is wrong about something or what is missing too early in the creative process. You want to allow enough time, enough space for there to be kind of divergent thinking and for different ideas to be coming in. So you're asking more open questions at that point. You're not kind of trying to close down the thinking around something. So that idea of giving feedback at the right time, the right kind of feedback at the right time, is extremely important. So allow you and your team enough time, enough space to really think deeply and to come up with lots of ideas around whatever the project is you're working on. And then the third principle is something I see men are terrible at, and I count myself amongst that. It's something I have to keep in check the whole time. Is guys, we're usually pretty bad at wanting to rush into providing a solution. We want to kind of rush in, and if there's an idea and we're trying to think of ideas around something, we want to kind of rush in and provide that solution as quickly as possible. And that's sometimes not the best way of thinking about it when it comes to being innovative and really having a very creative culture and a creative environment. So you want to provide, once again, that time and that space where you're not jumping into providing solutions, where you're allowing the idea to find its different path, and you're trying to explore multiple ideas rather than just kind of closing down a debate. So this is sometimes what we call divergent thinking. We want to allow time for divergent thinking, and then when the time is right, then you can start kind of really, trying to bring it convergent thinking and bringing it back. And the final principle is the idea of being very specific when you give feedback to other creative individuals. So don't just say, if someone has given you a song to listen to and you're working with someone on a song, or maybe it's a book, or maybe it's another piece of kind of creative work on a project that you're working on, don't just come back with something like, well, that idea is terrible, that won't work. There's nothing that's going to close down a creative environment quicker than doing something like that. And also, it's just not helpful. It's not really useful. This is something I saw time and time again, having been brought up in Scotland, which is very, very good at if someone comes up with an idea, telling them 100 reasons why it can't work. And then when I moved to California, usually if I go out with an idea, there's 100 ideas on how to make it better. So here's how to think about this. Rather than saying, that idea that's not going to work, or that's terrible, point out something specific in the work itself. So it could be something like, in that verse, I feel the energy, we lose energy at the end of that verse. Something's not quite right there. Or in the chorus there, it doesn't feel, it doesn't have a stronger feel in the previous chorus. Or if it's a book that's being written and you're giving feedback to someone on the writing, maybe it's something more along the lines of, I feel that the character starts to, I lose the plot a little bit here, where the plot's going, or the character doesn't feel as rounded. So be very specific when you're giving that feedback. And I know for some of you it may sound really obvious, but it's horrendous when I see in organizations, I go into companies and I see managers giving feedbacks to other people in their team and just saying, that's terrible, that doesn't work. Be specific. Provide some specificity about the feedback you're getting. So those are the 4 principles that we want to think about when we're giving feedback to creative people. First of all, there's that idea, you want to say what's missing or unclear or you feel is wrong. Secondly, you want to be saying it at the right time. Don't jumping in too early. The third principle is not to be rushing in to be providing solutions. And guys, this is something we have to be particularly aware of when we're working in teams. And the fourth point is being very specific in your feedback, actually being constructive in the feedback that you're giving to creative people. So whether this is for you giving feedback to other creative individuals, or perhaps this is this is a video you want to share with other members of your team when you're working as part of a team, so they can give really constructive feedback to you and the work that you're doing. I hope you find this useful. My name's James Taylor from jamestaylor.me. Hi, it's James here. Did you enjoy that episode? If so, there's 2 things that we can do to continue the journey together. Firstly, I would love if you to subscribe, give us 5 stars and leave a comment. Secondly, if you go to jamestaylor.me and enter your name and email address, I'm going to send you some free goodies all around creativity and innovation. Look forward to continuing the journey together.